are you? Fine.
Very good morning, sir. I am pretty well today and just thrilled to have this session. And I was waiting for this session eagerly. And how about you, sir? How's your day going on?
I'm very fine, Neha. It is a matter of a kind of pleasure for me also that whenever I talk to young people like you who are doing this job of teaching English to people, uh, so I always feel thrilled myself also because English is uh, an area where people have so many fears and so many phobias, and from my 50 years of teaching experience, have discovered that all this is because of the wrong approach to learning English. This
Yes,
is the reason. And what I'm
exactly.
here is, I'm with the help of young people like you. I'm just trying to share with you my idea of how English can be learned in an entertaining way rather than in a very kind of difficult and scary way. See, I
Yes,
call it entertainment. I believe that learning English is not a fight at all. It is fun. So
exactly.
this is what I'm doing. And when young people like you wish to find out how do I do it, then it is a matter of joy for me also, Neha. So,
Yes, sir.
uh,
Yes, sir. I just went through your videos, a few videos which you have uploaded on your YouTube channel, and I was immense happy to see because sir, you have told very complex things in a very simple way. And what I liked about you, because you are interacting in Hindi, and that's what made me happy. Because you know what, sir, sometimes I am used to scroll so many videos related English speaking skills, no. Sometimes we just go those websites which really make it a matter of thinking, which really make learning English a rocket science, because they themselves are putting this matter in such a that they have created such environment through their channel. They just they are giving a message that it's not an easy task, it's very difficult. So it should not be like this, because we Indian, we have Hindi. Most of the people Hindi as our first language. We are dependent on this language. So it is not possible to leave Hindi behind, because we can learn easily through this language, whatever our first languages. So you are doing so commendable, because you are, and your that video patterns of verb, 8 patterns of verb, oh my god, I was like, these kind of techniques we don't have.
Neha, actually, you know what happened? Let me tell you that there are two types of people. There are a
Hmm.
lot many scholars around us, and then there are a few teachers.
Yes.
The difference between scholars and teachers is that scholars try to make things very
Yes.
difficult with a show of their kind of information.
Yes,
But
sir.
what a teacher does is a teacher tries to address the complexity of an issue and tries to find the simplicity of that issue and then shares that with the students. This is what I have been doing always. That and of course, this all this came out of my own experience because I was also born and brought up in a village. Like you talk about Hindi, my mother tongue was Punjabi. See, in
Right.
my circumstance, there was no chance to get a top class training in English speaking because I was born and brought up in a small village in Punjab, and then I lived there for 22 years. But then I elected to teach English, and then I discovered that it is very easy. Now, for example, the example that I give to my learners is that uh, think of a small baby born to
Yes.
any language group.
Yes.
That baby, in a matter of 4 years, he becomes a wonderful master of his language. If he speaks Hindi, he becomes a wonderful communicator in Hindi. Similarly, Punjabi and similarly English. So this
Yeah.
is what I tell my learners. I tell them that learning a language doesn't require a training at all. A child, 4-year-old baby masters English. He cannot master math or trigonometry or other
Right.
subjects at this young age, but he becomes a master communicator. So that is the model that we should keep in front of us. And then next thing is that when you are convinced that, oh, English can be learned by a baby also, then
Yes.
the next step is to find out how does that baby learns English. And
Yes.
I found out that two things happen to that child. Which are those two things? Number one is uh, the child every day learns words. Every day the child
Yes.
learns. So then, second thing is that he also from his own environment he picks up
Yes.
the skill of arranging those words into structures. That's all. It is as simple as that. It
Yes.
happens to that child naturally, and in our context, we have to manage those two things. That
Yes.
wherever we are, if we are daily learning words with our own effort, number one, and if we learn to arrange those words in structures, we master English very easily. That's all. Now,
Exactly.
this is what is happening in our schools and in our see what do they do? They never the teachers never focus on these two things. They have
Yes.
a defined syllabus and they cover that syllabus, finish that syllabus, and there are no communication skills. So this is what I then try to address as a teacher. I taught in TAB college for 35 years, retired as head from there. And over that period, I perfected this method of teaching English. And that I have been using now for the last 14. See, I retired in 2009. But since then, I'm busy working on this track because it is being welcomed everywhere like young learner
Yes.
people like you because it solves the problem.
Right.
Uh, and how? And again, let me tell you that people sometimes, in a very faulty manner, they describe the way of teaching, for example.
Yes.
See, they tell you that there are two ways of learning English. One is direct method, and the other is translation method. This is what
Hmm.
they say.
Yes.
And so, after defining it like this, then they look down upon their mother tongue. They reject the mother tongue at all, and they think that probably it is a sin to use your mother tongue in learning English. So
Exactly.
this is what our scholars are doing. But
Yes.
whereas if you try to find out, you will see that all the international serious platforms of language learning, they tell you that mother tongue is the rich source of teaching you any alien
Yes.
language. When an American tries to learn Latin, he learns it through English. When a Britisher tries to learn any European language, he learns it through his language. But there
Language.
is a strange kind of confusion here that we probably, if we speak in Hindi or Punjabi, then we cannot learn English.
Yes.
It is a very faulty kind of approach. Now, look here. How do I tell people which is the right
Yes.
approach to learn English? I
Right.
tell them that it is not the direct method or translation method. This is not the issue.
Yes.
The issue is that whether in your technique the grammar is in the foreground or in the
Right.
background. This is the
Yes.
issue. Grammar in the foreground or in the background.
Background.
So the votaries of direct method, they should know that in a good public school, over 12 years through interaction with teachers, a child, of course, matlab, see, he learns English without bothering
Yes.
about grammar. But this is not available in lakhs of schools in our rural areas in
Yes,
Himachal,
sir.
Haryana, and Punjab. So how do we solve this problem? See, my method takes the easy way to learn English to these areas. That how we can probably use our mother tongue very creatively
Right.
to master English communication. That's all. This is what I've done. And the thing that I found, that I discovered, is that throughout your life you speak only eight structurally different sentences. There is no
Yes.
nine sentences. So it is so easy. My Hindi or Punjabi learner, he already knows those eight structures in mother tongue, and I help them say those eight structures in English, and the whole grammar is covered. So this is how you are doing it very well at your place. I interact with teachers also. All the brilliant teachers, they at once are so much appreciative of this idea. They tell
Yes.
me that it is much more effective than the way of teaching English that we are using. Huh? So
Exactly,
this
sir.
uh, so now, Neha, we can see, maybe if you have some questions one by one, how the whole
Yes.
kind of outline of my system roadmap, we can talk about it in points. If you have any question, you can go ahead.
Yes, sir. I have not one question. I have a list of questions. But first, really, I just want to tell you that today, when I before our session, I was watching your videos, and you know what, sir? You have changed my perspective, my idea of thinking. Now onwards, I'm going to deal with my students as you are dealing. I always used to think, as you are telling, that we cannot put our mother tongue in background, because this is the way, this is the link, this is the bridge between our learning. How can we put it aside? But when I saw so many videos on YouTube, that too of famous teachers or tutors, they all used to say, just don't translate, forget your native language, be it Hindi, be it any other. So it made me confused. But in a way, when I am dealing with my students, I'm always interacting in that language in which that is easy to understand them. It's not that I'm just speaking in English and they are not understanding me, so that
Yes.
is the wastage of time. So as a teacher, as a tutor, I always try to connect with my students. And when I have that regret, why I didn't watch your video earlier, why I wasn't able to know you. And I am in a way, I'm thankful to YouTube. And because YouTube recommend me your videos, and when I just clicked on, I was like, oh my goodness, he is here. And this is the tutor whom I was looking for. So today, it's like a fortunate day for me, because I am having interaction with you. And yes, sir, you have just changed my direction of thinking. And now I'm going to apply all these tips and tricks to me and to my learners. So yes, sir, now my first question. As you are retired now,
Mm,
right, you can have very easy
mm.
life, not right, sitting or just reading newspaper, watching news.
Ah,
But
yeah.
what is that thing that has made you going like this? You are still working, you are still doing. So what is that one reason?
Neha, my belief system is very simple. You know what is my belief system? And my belief system is based on the features, prominent features of this creation itself. You know, if you look around in this creation, the first thing is health. You know,
Yes,
because there is the health dominates the whole creation. That is why the creation is going on. So
yes,
health is my first value. I believe in maintaining good health, number one. And then the second thing is that the whole creation is busy in work.
yes,
You know, can you tell me anything that is not working?
yes,
Everything is working. So
yes,
my second system of belief is that work. So I find work for myself. And again, you know, why I'm doing this, and I'm doing it with such a kind of exciting experience all over, because there are so many platforms where now I am linked with, and we are getting wonderful results, for example. And then, what is my goal? My goal is that as soon as it is possible, by proving the efficacy of this system at grassroots level,
yes,
we should get the syllabus totally changed in boards. The
right,
Himachal board, Punjab board, and then
right,
Haryana board. They should throw away the old rotten system, and they
yes,
should pick up a new system of teaching English that is very kind of entertaining for our learners.
right, sir.
And now see, what happens? Get the people you have been listening to, all those people, and they have millions of followers.
Yes,
I only started last November, and I have no doubt that one day our channel will also be
yes,
a
right,
source of
sir.
interest for millions. I have no doubt about it. So,
Yes,
but
sir.
what those all those people who are warning you against using your mother tongue,
Yes,
they are suffering from a kind of fallacy. For example, you have so much experience in spoken English teaching. No, if you look for a conventional course of learning spoken English, you will find that it is based on mugging. It is
yes,
based on mugging. there is
right.
there is nothing but mugging. and
Mugging.
and you know and I was aware of all that. I am totally aware of all the kind of formulas or all the kind of programs that are available in the market. Even a
Yes.
British Council program, even
Okay.
an American setup program that Americans have recently, Punjab School Education Board has entered into a kind of MOU with some American setup. So, what do they? I am aware of those systems. Those systems are based on mugging. So, how do I throw away mugging? Now, for example, what is the first step? The first step that I take. The first step is that all my learners, I ask them to start writing paragraphs in Hindi.
Yes.
They should write paragraphs in Hindi, and they should read. In my class, I have some online classes also. In my class, this is how my learners proceed. Every day they write a Hindi paragraph. This is the first step. I begin from here. They write Hindi paragraph, and then I ask them to just try to find out the different structures. For example, if they have written 10 lines, I make them read out those 10 lines again and again, and then they find out that the line first and the line fourth and the line fifth, they were of the same kind. They were of the same kind. So,
Right.
and then they next they find out the line second and the line seventh, they were also of the same kind.
Same.
So now this is how my learners start recognizing those structures,
Structures.
and then I name those structures for them. You see, these are eight only: things, and then possession, then
Position.
simple, continuing, perfect, intention, compulsion, and modals. And you would be surprised that in a matter of 1 week, they clearly start identifying those sentences. This is what
Yes.
they do. And now simultaneously, my vocabulary work starts here.
Okay.
I ask them, okay, now you have written a paragraph in Hindi.
Mm-hmm.
Suppose you are to say this paragraph in English.
English.
So, which are the words of need? Which words? So, see the words of need. For
Yes.
example, suppose as one of your learners says that मेरी kitchen में एक तवा था, तवा. For
Vata. Right. Right.
and now he wants to say it in English.
Yes.
Obviously, he will ask me the English for tava.
Tava.
I will tell them that it is Gradle.
Great. Right.
G-R-I-Double-T-L. That's so. This is now what happens. My learners start writing paragraphs in Hindi. So
Hindi.
on one side they start identifying sentences very clearly,
Yes.
and then they also start listing their words of need.
Right.
And these words of need they never forget because
They.
they came out of their curiosity.
Yes.
So, sentence identification begins and the work on vocabulary also starts. Okay. And then every day, what do I do? If you Google search, you will find a site that tell you to learn stories through reading, to
Okay.
learn English through stories. This is the
Stories.
title. You can after you Google search that site, okay, see learning English through stories.
Stories.
Ah, and you'll be surprised. There are numberless stories over there. Level one, level two, level
Two
three,
levels.
level four.
Okay.
So this is the other thing that I do daily. I share with them a small narrated story. 2 minutes long, 3 minutes long, very small narrated story. And so now this is an additional effort to add to their vocabulary. They listen to the story, they enjoy the story, they notice the words, they also they are sensitized to the
Yes.
pronunciation of words also. And this is the second way that they start learning their words by enjoying stories. So these two things go on. Sentence identification is complete and vocabulary starts building, and then you will be surprised if without I asking them to start now writing in English, they themselves start writing those sentences in
In
English
English.
themselves, by themselves. This is what they do. So this is how my acha, again. So this is, and first of all I focus on eight structure, that they should learn these eight structures very clearly, and they start saying them in English, writing them in English. Then in one day, I tell them, look here, there is a structural division of these sentences:
Mm.
positive, negative, interrogative, negative interrogative.
Yes.
At once they pick up the idea of structural division of the sentences.
Yes.
So then this continues for some time. Then the third step is that I tell them about amount of time, for example. amount of time. If in a sentence some amount of time is added, then what is the difference? That what difference does it make? Okay, so then we find out very soon that this the amount of time doesn't make any changes anywhere except at two places, in king sentences and continuing sentences where they were using was, were, is, am, or shall be. For example, when they say I'm a teacher, it is thing sentence, and I'm teaching, it is a continuing sentence. But when
Right.
they say I have been teaching for years, then it becomes a continuing plus amount of time. Right? So they pick up the idea of amount of time. Okay, and here they are told how to use since and for. They learn very fast. So now, up to now, eight sentences. Number one, then there's structural division, and then amount of time.
Amount of
And
time.
then I give them another idea, the idea of tonal division of sentences. Tonal division.
Okay.
Okay, in case of sentences, you do not have only structural division. You have a tonal division also. Your tone changes, tone changes, and you get a new kind of sentence. It is not a category; it's a new kind of sentence. For example,
Okay.
those eight were the basic categories. But
Mm-hmm.
what are these the tonal kinds? For example, there are six. They are six. One is assertive statements, then questions, interrogative sentences, then imperative sentences. Order, advice,
Advice.
order, advice, or
Request,
request.
command.
Yes. And then fourth is optative sentence. Optative sentences are wish or prayer sentences. Okay.
Yes.
So we have assertive, we have interrogative, we have imperative, we have optative sentences. Then there are exclamatory sentences. Exclamatory sentence. And then the last category, I call it let sentences. The sentences that begin with let.
Okay.
And they are for suggestion or they are for permission. For example, when I say that let us take tea now,
Yes.
it is suggestive idea. And
Right.
when I say go in, sir, it is a permission idea.
That's commendable. Actually, sir, you know what it's your structure is kind of a tree. First, you are inserting the seed. You are letting it grow up firmly to set its roots firmly in the soil. Then it is growing in its speeds because you are making your students each and every confusion clear in a way that they don't get pressurized. They
Yes,
are
yes,
out of that phobia that, oh my god, english is very difficult to learn. We can't learn English using our native language. But you are just letting them in free from that cage of fear. So that is very nice, sir. And I'm like, I have no words. How did you find this idea? It is really actually our students need this, especially if I talk about students from rural area.
yes,
We can't expect very advanced knowledge of English from them because we know. I also belong to a village from Himachal, so I know. I am myself a Hindi medium student, so I
yes,
can relate myself. It is not that much easy. Some tutors say that it doesn't matter you are a Hindi medium student or a convent school student. It doesn't matter, but it does matter. It does matter. So your model of teaching student is really commendable. I completely agree with that.
another now, whatever I have shared with you up to now, conventionally, it is called grammar. It is not grammar at all. I tell people that this is not grammar at all. This
Yes.
is only mastering communication by taking lessons from the life in front of you. This is what I tell them.
Yes.
But now look, again. This is the last point that I like to share with you. What do I think about grammar? Grammar actually is a matter of mastering three concepts. What are those three concepts? Okay, you should find out which are nouns and which are adverbs and which are adjectives. These three things. These three things are to say if you start with words and you start uh, correctly finding which are the nouns, which are the adjectives, and which are the adverbs, then this leads to you to the next step. Very soon you start recognizing the noun phrases and adjective phrases and verb phrases, and then you take the next step. you master non-finite verbs also. For example, gerunds, which are always
Yes.
nouns, participles, which are adjectives, and then infinitives, which are nouns, sometimes adjectives, and sometimes adverbs. And then finally, the fourth thing that you do is that you start also finding out if this is a noun clause, this is an adjective clause, and this is an adverb clause. So this is grammar. And for this also, though you will not find this thing in my book or in my uh, videos, because whenever I'm interacting with learners or when I'm interacting with teachers, we I share this thing with them orally. Look here, this is
Okay.
how you have to perceive. How, for example, yeah, I can share it very simply with you also. You have three sets of questions. Three sets of questions. The first set is what, who, whom.
Yes.
This is what, who, whom. So if you are in doubt about a word, a phrase, or a non-finite or a clause, you ask one of these three questions. Answer to this: if that word, that phrase, that non-finite or that clause, if that answers this question, what, whom, then it is a noun. It is a
Oh,
noun word or a noun phrase or a noun
exactly.
non-finite or a noun clause. That's all.
Yes.
Acha.
Yes.
Then the second question is which.
Hmm.
WHICH, which.
Which?
Second question is which. Which in bracket you can say which number, kind, quantity, etc.
Yes.
Basic question is which. And the answer to which will always be an
And
adjective word,
adjective.
an, an adjective phrase, an adjective non-finite, or
Yes.
an adjective clause.
Right,
Okay.
sir. Right.
Then last set of questions is when, where, how, why. When, where, how, why.
There.
So
Yes.
answer to one of these will be an adverb word,
Adverb.
an adverb
Right.
phrase, an adverb non-finite, or an adverb clause. And you can do it very, very quickly and very fast. That's all.
Yes.
The grammar is covered. The whole grammar is covered. That's
We are
any
never
question.
taught like this. We are never taught like this
Yes, yes.
in
Because
our school.
yes, you are right. See, over there it is torture. You asked me, okay, how did I come by this way? I came by this way because of my own suffering. Like
Suffering. Right.
you used Hindi in Himachal, I used Punjabi in Punjab,
Punjabi.
and our suffering is common. And I could find a solution to this suffering
Right,
with
sir.
my
Right.
experience, with
Yes.
experience.
Exactly,
This is
sir.
what-
Because you have come a long way. You actually you have dealt with this situation. I guess each and every day during your job, right?
yes,
And
yes.
that was the reason you could. And there was a curiosity to do something for the or the other for your students. So that is the reason you found a way. But really, because you made all the grammatical concepts very easy. If I talk about gerunds and infinitives,
Ah,
students don't have any idea what
yes.
they have. Mostly my students, if I talk about students from Himachal, if I ask them, do you know what is gerund, they don't have any idea about gerunds, infinitives, and conditional sentences. They are
Ah,
just familiar with tenses, active, passive, narration, and prepositions, conjunctions, that eight parts of speech. But it is really commendable the way you told me questions in a way that you just have divided questions. Then you relate those questions with the noun,
yes,
adjectives, and adverb.
yes, yes. Three sets of questions.
Yes.
Let me repeat. What, who, whom for
What?
nouns. What, who,
Yes.
whom for
Whom?
nouns or pronouns.
Right.
Which for adjectives. And
Adjective.
when, where, how, why for adverbs.
Adverb. So it's
And
easy.
it is very
It's
simple.
easy. Yes, it's very simple.
It is
Okay, sir. That's very nice, sir. And
simple.
really, for me, I'm telling you that it is going to change my way of teaching and my way of learning English, because I have got this that direction now, and I am quite clear.
Good, good.
My first motive is to serve for society, as to uh, provide education or to share my knowledge with those students who really need it, and they don't have that much they are not financially strong enough. If I can help in any way, and it would be my privilege to connect with you, to work under your guidance. It was wonderful meeting with you, sir, and I am looking forward to meeting you again.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, sir, and bye bye. Take care.
God bless you.
Thank
God
you
bless
so
you,
much.
Neha. See you
Thank
soon.
you so
God
much.
bless. God bless.